Okay, this meeting is being live streamed. Got it.
But it's live streamed just with the company, right?
It's live streamed. I'm not sure where.
Great.
So is that okay with you? Do you mind being my guinea pig?
That's okay. Just no names.
Right. Okay. All right. That sounds good. Because now I am actually going to record this and on the cloud. Okay. So here I am. I am Nancy Magurno, Sales Director with Mary Kay, and I have a beautiful woman here that is going to help me on learning how to answer questions about our Mary Kay business. And how in the world, what do we know what to say? How do we know how this works? So I'm actually, what I'm going to do is to start out, if you'll be willing to, let's just start out this way, because if I'm introducing someone to our business, I would probably get to know them just a little bit. And I know this beautiful lady somewhat. And I have met her before and invited her to a Zoom event, a Mary Kay event. But in the meantime, my question on a one-to-one is, so what do you have 5 things, just 5 things that you would want to know about Mary Kay? And I am here to answer them. So think of something. What would you, as someone who is kind of curious about Mary Kay, what would you want to know? Have you got a question?
I would want to know, what are the startup costs?
Okay, what are the startup costs? Because you actually already purchased some products, you have an idea of what the Mary Kay products are about, and you actually already have a catalog in your hands. So the startup costs, you have an option, okay? And it depends on how you want to run your business. There's actually a $30 option. How cool is that? So you could, for $30, getting started with a Mary Kay business would give you the Mary Kay www.marykay.com website and ProPay, which is the credit card processing company. Okay, and so you wouldn't get anything in your hands, but what you would get is access to the website and the credit card processing and the whole back office, the whole incredible consultant website from Mary Kay, which has extensive training, and it has all kinds of scenarios of how to make your business work. It has videos and training on how to do social media. It tells you how to build your team. It tells you how to earn a car. I mean, there's just an incredible amount of information that's available to you. Plus, you will have access to the direct shipping from Mary Kay to your customer. So all that is available for $30. So that's one option. There's a second option. You could get a kit, a whole big kit with a flip chart and mirror trays and samples, over $400 retail value in actual samples of skincare and eye makeup remover and mascara and a satin hand set, et cetera, et cetera. And that will give you the ability to demonstrate product in person, or perhaps even on Zoom if you want to, okay? Either one of those choices. Also, you have an option of a $45 sample kit, and it's a huge bunch of samples that you can use either in person, or if you're going to do a makeover on Zoom or something like that, you can send them to people and you can do it together across the country. So the startup cost would either be $30 or $130 with an optional $45 sample kit. So does that answer your question?
Okay, yes.
Okay, what's another question you might have?
So what types of support system for a consultant does the company offer?
That's a great question, because yes, I think having the ability, we always say you're in business for yourself, but not by yourself. And so you have not only the website for consultants that I just told you about, I mean, so that's available 24/7. But you also have a team of and a sales director, which actually happens to be me for you. And so my job, the reason they pay me, is to help me to train you on how to one-on-one do this business, and what are the issues that you're facing personally, that because you need this. I mean, people come to this business with different skills. And so that's why the one-on-one is available for you. Plus, we have company events that happen right now on Zoom, sometimes in person, hopefully more and more in person. But there's extensive training that comes along with the whole thing. But really, it's the personal one-on-one that I provide and your recruiter provides also. Good question. Does that help?
Yes, that's great. And what is the profit margin?
The profit margin, the money. Always important to understand the money, isn't it? Yes, for sure. So we actually have two major sources of income. One is from selling the product. And we buy the product at one price at wholesale from Mary Kay, and then we sell it for 100% markup or 50% discount at retail to the customer. So basically, you own the product if you have it on your shelf, which you can, but you don't have to. The bottom line is you will be paying 50% discount off of the retail price when you purchase product from the company. If a customer goes to your website, you will be charged for 50% of the cost of whatever that customer purchased. So plus tax and shipping. So that's one form of income, and that's the immediate income. But a bigger source of income, honestly, is by earning commissions. And as you build your team and even move up the career ladder, you are going to get commissions that come directly from Mary Kay of 4%, 6%, 8%, or even 13% of however much product your team member places orders. Okay, so that's kind of a quick answer. Did that give you enough information?
Yes. Yes, that's great. Now, how do I get paid?
Okay. Oh, also a great question. How do you get paid? Well, again, there are several things. If you're going to get the commissions that I was just talking about, those get direct deposited either into your checking account or into that ProPay credit card processing account. So for the most part, the pay comes in the middle of the month on the 15th. But if you sponsor new people, if you get extra bonuses, you get those immediately deposited into one of those accounts. The other side of it is when you sell product to a customer, you pretty much get paid on the spot. In other words, if I have a lipstick and I sell it to a customer, they may be paying $18, but it only cost me $9 plus tax and shipping. So I'm getting paid immediately, even though I purchased the product in advance. Does that make sense?
So the tax is the customer is going to pay for the lipstick and the tax on the lipstick, and then I send the tax in, or how does that happen?
Another very good question, because sales tax is always an issue. So there are two parts to that answer. The first thing is when you purchase the product directly from the company, you will be paying your local sales tax. Okay. And so that's when you have product on hand. If a customer goes to your website and they order product directly shipped to them, the company will charge their sales tax to them. But the bottom line is the sales tax is paid on the retail value of the product. So you don't have to do any kind of monthly or annual or whatever sales tax. You are paying the tax up front, which takes a whole layer of business building out of your realm. You don't have to deal with that. Isn't that a good thing?
So I don't have to file that.
You do not have to file that. Right.
Okay. And what if I decide to discontinue being a consultant?
Okay, and I always really like to know, because sometimes it's harder to decide about becoming a consultant than maybe who you marry, which it doesn't have to be, because it's really easy to leave. And people come and go, and a lot of people actually come back. But the bottom line is when you have gone past 12 months of placing any kind of a wholesale order with Mary Kay, you are considered terminated and you're like out. Okay. To come back, it simply would be starting out as a new person, the way we talked about with that $30 or $130 kit. So that's simply the option. But one thing that is available to you, which there is a nuance in here, when you have product on your shelf, you have the satisfaction guarantee from Mary Kay that if you decide within 12 months of purchasing product from the company as a consultant, you have within 12 months of returning that product that's in good shape to the company and get back 90% of your purchase price. But that's like an incredible guarantee. I mean, you think about it, McDonald's cannot get 90% back on the hamburgers or the building or the whatever that they've invested in creating a business. So you can get 90% buyback on the product that you purchased from the company within 12 months. However, if you decide to do that, then because the company has to destroy all that product, you're not invited to come back. So what I try and do when people want to stop, and people do it for any number of reasons, what I try and do is help them to sell out the product that they have or continue to use it themselves as much as possible, whether it's for gifts or maybe a donation to a women's shelter or personal use. So,
Right.
however, because then they can leave that option open to come back if they'd like to. So it's kind of a long answer, but did that help?
Yes, great. That's great.
Excellent. What else would you want to know?
Well, so far that's it. Those are my 5 main questions.
Okay.
So at this point, you've answered my questions.
Okay, so let me ask you then, if you and I were talking about joining our company, I would want to say, so if I've answered your questions, is there any reason why you wouldn't want to get one of those kits and just kind of jump in and see how it goes?
Well, at this point, I already have. So
It's true. I know you're
I'm on
already
my
a
way.
consultant. So, but that's what I would do basically. If I'm doing one of these sessions, and this is like really simple from beginning to end. First of all, as a getting to know you, let me find out a little bit about you, and I'll tell you a little bit about me, which I didn't do yet. Okay, I'm going to answer your 5 questions, then ask you, is this something you're interested in? So let's say you hadn't decided yet. What would be an objection, a reason why you would not get started?
Maybe how do I find clients? How do I find my customers?
Okay, so that's actually another question, but it's a very common one and it's good. So if you're learning about finding clients, my answer to that would be that's an important part of our training. Everybody is always looking to build their customer base and to find more clients. And we would be helping you with that because there's a lot of skin in this town. So we ought to get the name.
Everybody has a face.
Everybody has a face. So that's an important part of our training, and we will be helping you with that, of course. What else might be a reason where you might not get started with your Mary Kay?
It could be a financial situation with the investment.
Okay. So if you didn't feel like you had the money, even for the $30 to get started, then what we might do is to ask you to be a hostess. Why not invite some of your friends to become customers or to do a Mary Kay demonstration with you? And that can help. And so there's going to be hostess credit, and maybe that could actually pay for your starter kit. What an interesting thought. Okay, that's a good one. What else? What's another reason someone might not get started with their business?
Well, there could be they've never been in business before, the fear of
how the heck do I do this? Got it. Okay, that's a good question too. So if I were to answer that question, I would say, actually, when I got started, I was director of an occupational therapy department in Chicago, a single woman. What I needed was fun. I liked the skincare from Mary Kay, but I really needed some fun. I said, well, if I'm going to have fun, I'm going to start a business, and because it's tax deductible for a home office. So I signed up and went, I don't have a clue. I didn't even know I ever wanted a business. I don't wear lipstick. How in the world am I going to go ahead and do this? The answer is, we train you on how to do that also. That's all part of the training that's available 24/7 on the consultant website, as well as from your director. And my director taught me how to do this in the same way I would be teaching you. So it's like, oh, really? It's not that hard. It's really a ton of fun having your own business and being in charge of your daily schedule and being in charge of who you interact with, because we get to choose who our customers are. We get to choose who our team members are. You don't always get to choose who your coworkers are in an office. Just saying. What else?
Great.
One more thing.
Let's see, one more. What about their time? They might not have enough time, they feel.
Oh, that's one of the most popular objections is time. Okay, and I've got two things to say about that. One is if there's something important enough to you, you will find the time. I mean, busy people get things done. Okay. And again, we teach you about time management. That's very, very important part of our skill. But the ability to manage your time with all the other things that we do, and even if you're full-time Mary Kay, there's still a lot of things to do. Okay. So it's a matter of learning that. And it's one of the skills that I have learned because of doing this business. And I'll tell you what, when I was single and supporting myself for like 10 years doing this business, I had to learn the daily activities that required what I wanted. And so we teach you about the time management, but busy people always get things done. And if it's important enough to you, you will probably find a way to get that done. Okay. And I think there was a second point that I don't remember what I was going to say. But anyway, but time is, it's a matter really of how you use the time, how effective is the time. And again, that's part of the training that we provide for you.
Mm-hmm.
So
great.
So that's really good. And as I say, so we have just gone through a whole process. Thank you very much. We've gone through a whole process of, we get to know each other, answer the 5 questions, come up with an objection. And so usually, now I'm going to get into the training portion here. Okay, often it takes at least 5 times of asking someone to make a decision before they make a decision. That's kind of the average. Okay. So a lot of people, for instance, you said we got started and you actually volunteered and said, okay, you did the survey after we did our Zoom event. It was a contouring event. It was all about the product and whatever. But right after that, then you followed up with the survey that I sent to you. And then we talked about, so what do you want to do? And you made the decision right away. I didn't really have to overcome any objections. Thank you. That was lovely. That was really fun. I'm really excited about having you on my team. But so who are we looking for? Who are the people that we want to interact with? Who do you want as your tribe? And I'm teaching now to our consultants, to our team. And there are a couple categories that I look for. One of the things is I look for people with a positive attitude. Okay, people that choose to think positively. And instead of being complainers or drama queens, we want people that go, oh, this could work. Oh, I'm going to get past this. Oh, this will be good. So I like to look for people that just by who they are, choose to be positive. Secondly, I really look for entrepreneurial people. Now, that doesn't mean they already have their own business, which you did have your business, but I never had my own business. My parents didn't have a business. However, my parents were community leaders. So even though they worked for someone else, they got out there and took charge. They managed situations. My father was president of the PTA. My mother started an Easter Seal Center in our county. They were community leaders. So these are entrepreneurial people that chose to be positive, that have the idea of working until the job gets done, as opposed to working for a job and cutting it off. You're working for people that really want something more. Now, it doesn't mean ignore the people that work for someone else. It's just that when you're looking for people that you like to be around them, people that you really would enjoy sharing experiences, maybe a whole seminar, maybe 3 or 4 days, hanging with, maybe sharing a room with them. And these are people that you would like to have in your life. Now, the downside of this is you never know. You never know what people need. And so asking the question of, have you ever heard more about Mary Kay, or have you ever learned more about our company, is a great way to ask a question of anybody, because they may be working at McDonald's because that's all they can get right now, but they have much bigger dreams. And so don't ignore people and don't write off people that are doing some kind of a job that you think doesn't look entrepreneurial, because you don't know where they're coming from,
Right.
and you don't know what their situation is.
Right.
So we like to offer this to people. And I know when I switched over to really wanting to build a team quickly and move into management, I started inviting everybody, and I had some real surprises of the people that said yes. I went, oh, I guess there's a lesson learned. Okay.
You never know.
You never know. So the idea of offering to people and see where it goes. Many people, and I was one of them, initially will say no, not now. Rarely
Right.
do they really say no, not never. But a lot of times they'll say no, not now, which I did for a long time. But the seeds have been planted. So the bottom line is numbers. Okay. How many, if you want to build your team to at least 3 people, which is a standard in Mary Kay of new people, new consultants, if you want to build your team to 3 people, you need to ask probably 15 or 20 people to listen to our business. The question then is, how do you find those people? How you find those people is usually from introducing them to the product. How do you find people that want to try our product? Well, a lot of times you're going to start with your friends and family. And I know my friends absolutely supported me. My family, not so much. Although my mother had so many facials, but it was just wonderful when I started. That was a long time ago. But when you start with your friends and family, but the idea is it's the party plan. And this is the best way to build your business. And that is invite your people to try the product and say, let's invite 3 or 4 of your girlfriends. Or you could have 15 or 20 if we do it on Zoom, or 100. Okay, you can do a Facebook Live party, you can do a Zoom party, and invite a multitude. That's how things have changed these days. But if you want to do in person, having yourself and just 2 or 3 other girlfriends, it constitutes a party. And people get to try the product, they get to learn about how to book another party, and you are getting then referrals, because you're paying your hostess with hostess credit, you're paying her to invite her friends that you don't know. And then from that party, you book more parties. That's the way Mary Kay set it up. I know that's the way I built my business, for sure. But there are an amazing number of people that are out there. So if you are just handing out your catalog and saying, here, have you tried this? Or hand out your business card and say, have you ever tried this? Put a sample on the back of your business card and just see, I would love to hear what you think of this lipstick in the next couple of days. Can I have your name and number? And just because I want to get back to you, maybe just their first name, or even have them put it in your phone and just say, I will get back to you in 2 days. Make an appointment and say, what did you think of that lip color? Several things will happen with that. One is they won't answer the phone because they weren't going to do it anyway. So what? It's just a lip sample, but they've got your card. Number 2 is they haven't tried it yet. Say, oh, really? Oh my gosh, I can't wait to hear about it. How about if I call you tomorrow? Set up another appointment. Number 3 scenarios, they tried it and say, well, it felt really good, but I really don't like that color. Then you say, oh, wow, well, let's get together because I can show you some other colors. And we can set up an appointment to get together either on Zoom or in person. And then you invite her to get us an appointment with you. And then you invite her to invite some girlfriends. That's the steps that we take. So, but there are a ton of people out there that would love to have a Mary Kay consultant. And there's one more way that I can think of. This is really, really working. And that is because you'll have a website and you'll have the credit card processing. So if you have on your business card your website, which of course you will, you just hand it out to people and say, you know what, I have a free gift for people that meet certain qualifications if you go to my website. Or if they just go to marykay.com and say, find a consultant, your name might come up and they will call you or contact you about some products. Example, a couple of years ago, there's a lady in my neighborhood that contacted me and she wanted a mascara. And I talked to her about it, getting more products, and she didn't want to do that. That's whatever. But I kept her on my mailing list. and I sent out emails and text messages. So I kept her on the list. Well, she contacted me last week and said, you know what? I'm starting my Christmas shopping early. Can I come over and shop with you? From
Wow.
one mascara a couple years ago. And she is now shopping for her holiday gifts. I'm like, be still my heart. You
Great.
want to make a presence in your community by continuing to smile, nod, look the part. Please look the part, have love in your heart, and look into someone's eyes and say, I would love to offer you my card. Would that be okay with you? Almost no one says no. Occasionally someone will, but usually people say, oh, okay. And then you can talk about the sample on the back of your card.
Great.
That's a lot of ideas.
Great.
So though, but you want to find the people, and there are many more ideas, but those are just some of the more common ones.
Mm-hmm.
So that's some of how we help. But you have a progression. You start kind of with the fertile ground that's out there, and you don't know who these people are. I love to find apartment buildings and say, I don't have any customers in that apartment building yet. I wonder when I'm going to hear from them. And usually within 2 weeks, somebody from that apartment building contacts me. It's like there's a thing out there in the universe.
Yes.
I swear, that's what happens. Yes. And so, I mean, you start affirming that it's going to happen. And that, ladies, is also a major part of our training of how to believe, because even when the evidence isn't there, if you believe it's going to happen, then you're more likely to get the results sooner or later.
Great.
What else would you like to know about team building?
Well, so team building usually starts with you just recruit one, and then you get to your 3, which is the main level.
It's the first career level, but so okay. This brings up a good question. Thank you very much, because there's this wonderful brochure that tells you all the different levels. Okay, from Mary Kay First Consultant. When you have 3 people on your team, you're eligible to wear a red jacket. Then you move into sales director. I mean, and there's a whole lot going on in between those two. Okay, and you can move up to senior sales director and even national sales director. So this brochure is available. It's something you might want to have on hand a lot. Plus, along the way, as a consultant, you can be earning the use of a free car. How good is that?
Wow. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So and here's how, just a really brief idea of how this works. As you build your team, once you have 5 people on your team that are active, and we'll help you with that. Once you have 5 people on your team that are active, you can start qualifying for one of those cars. Right now it's a Chevy Malibu. So once you would be starting at this level and help to build your team, and then you're going to be trained more and more on the leadership skills of how to be a leader in Mary Kay. And within 4 months, you can qualify for the use of a free car. And the company pays most of the insurance. They pay the stickers, which in this town, oh my gosh, that's worth a lot of money, okay? Or you can take cash, okay? And they will give you $450 a month, and you can put that towards whatever you want, whether you want to get your own car or whatever, okay? But it's very valuable to have a Mary Kay car. It says Mary Kay on the side. And people will say, oh, have you got one of those pink Cadillacs? And you can say, well, I don't have the pink car yet, but I do have a free Chevy Malibu. And they're going, you do? Oh my goodness, because they actually are out there.
Right.
So that's a wonderful perk. Plus, of course, there's great income from your commissions and the value of a free car. Think about the car payments you don't have to make.
Right.
And a brand new car every other year.
It's great.
So that's how you would get paid. So this is a great way to introduce people to the company. And if you are putting these in your reorders and giving these to people and then follow up, say, hey, did you get a chance to look at that brochure? I would love to tell you a little bit more if you don't mind. What would you think of that?
Yeah, that's great.
Do you think this is something that you might be comfortable stepping into today? And you're a new consultant. So what would you think about this?
Well, personally, being so new, I think that's kind of ahead of the game for me at this point. Maybe for others, it's not. Maybe that's their direction right away. But right now, for me, it's just getting organized, learning the product, learning the literature, learning the process, getting my basically a client list together to show the product. That's kind of where I feel I'm at right now, but I do understand that at least there's lots of potential for growth.
Absolutely. Okay, great. Thank you for being so positive. I really appreciate that. I think that's really great. And I love the fact that you are working on gaining your skills and learn. I mean, we all go to college to learn a profession, or even go to high school because we're going to be learning skills so we can get out into the world. And that is a very important part of being a new consultant. The interesting thing is, and if in one of the first things we always ask is make a list of 25 to 50 people that you know, faces that you are aware of. These are potential customers. They may say yes, they may say no. And you might start put a star by the people that you think, I would love to have her on my team. I don't know if she's interested or not, but she's someone that I would really enjoy having on my team. And because you don't have to have the skills, especially with the team building, because we do three-way Zooms or three-way in person, which is even better. That's something we can do together. And part of your training, along with how to do the demonstration, part of your training is how to introduce the company to a potential person. Okay. Right. And you can start that right away. Even before you get your product, you can get that started right away, because you could have your first team member your first day in business. You don't have to know what you're doing. That's my job. So that's really good. That's really good. So, and plus, when we start with at least 3 of these team building appointments, I call them pondering pink chats, PPC. When we have 3 of those, you're going to be learning, but you will also earn some beautiful pearl earrings, because it's the beginning of that part of your training.
Great.
So we could do that like today even. What an interesting concept.
Nothing like just going right to it.
Well, absolutely. I mean, because this is not brain surgery, thank goodness, because we are allowed to mess up, and it is not going to hurt anybody. So we some of it is knowing the product, and that's really important, and some of it is just get started and just jump in and just see what the heck you're doing. So figure it out. You may be surprised with some of the skills you have that you didn't know. I did not know I would love sales. I didn't even know I was good at sales. And I actually am, but I didn't know that, because I just jumped in and started doing stuff, and I made a lot of mistakes. People still love me, mostly.
Maybe, right. Looking back, maybe you think they were mistakes, but at the time, probably not.
We call them growing experiences.
Yes.
So,
exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I'll tell you what, thank you very much for paying attention. I am going to cut off the YouTube, because I think this has really been helpful. You don't need to go away.
Okay.
Hold on. I'm going to stop the recording, and I'm going to, yes, and I'm going to stop the